We've got some huge news to talk about, as a few months ago we learned a standalone Call of Duty Zombies game did at one point exist. Well, today we now know a ton more information about this cancelled game, all thanks to Glitching Queen, who had an interview with the former Raven Software developer. There were a lot of very interesting topics spoken about in that interview, so I'm going to link it down below or in the top right of the screen, so when you're done with this video, go over and watch her video, give it a like. He reveals a lot of secrets about development with Warzone, DMZ, and Zombies, but we're going to be going over all of the new known details about this canned Call of Duty Zombies game. As we dive in, I need to get your thoughts and opinions in the comments on what you think about this, because there are so many positives on what this game could have been. But on the other end of the spectrum, if this existed, then we wouldn't have gotten Black Ops 2 Zombies or get Black Ops 3 Zombies either, so it's a really crazy reality to think about. For a little bit of context, the former Raven Software developer is called Michael Gamel. He worked at Raven Software for 23 years, working on pretty much every Call of Duty since Black Ops in some capacity, and was lead designer on Call of Duty Warzone, co-developing the mode with Infinity Ward, which is absolutely crazy. Going into the details of this Call of Duty Zombies standalone game, it was going to be a free-to-play live service game. And from this design document that he shared with Glitching Queen, it was going to be called Project Z, which was going to combine the best of Call of Duty Zombies with the addictive replayability of Call of Duty multiplayer, adding the robust microtransaction model of Call of Duty Online to deliver monetization to the franchise and a constant stream of new modes, maps, and character customization content that will hook zombie players old and new and keep them coming back for more. Now, prior to working on Warzone, Michael's backstory was that he helped develop a lot of the Call of Duty Online content, which was the Chinese version of Call of Duty. This included the Cyborg Zombies mode, which you may have seen before, and created the Battle Royale mode in that game as well, which is what helped create Warzone. The timeline for this standalone game was it was in development between 2011 and 2012, so right after Black Ops 1 DLC finished. However, the game never passed the design document stage, so there was never any actual development on the game itself. It was during a period of time where Treyarch themselves weren't sure if they were going to be developing Zombies after Black Ops 1, because Zombies just took up so much of their time. And isn't that crazy to think that there could have been a world where Treyarch just gave up on Zombies? This is when Activision offered the opportunity to Raven Software to fill in that void that Treyarch might have left. The game would have been an expansion and evolution of the COD Zombies experience in the gameplay and the theming, and it wouldn't have just been a straight port of previous COD offerings that added zero value. It was going to be built off the foundations of Raven's Call of Duty Online engine tech. Of the era in which this was going to be created, it would have still looked and felt pretty modern. It was going to be a 1 to 4 player co-op based fast fun action shooter, and it wouldn't have been a Call of Duty that you'd be able to buy physically on a disc. It would only be available as a digital download from the Xbox store or the PlayStation store. Just like with some of the more wackier maps we saw in Black Ops 1 like Call of the Dead, this was going to be a really fun, campy, and experimental zombies game, so it wasn't going to be anything with a serious tone or story. It also wasn't going to be a brand new or original IP under Call of Duty. It was still going to be Call of Duty branded through and through. It wouldn't have been a heavily scripted single player narrative. It would have been a social and casual game with a high degree of stickiness. So he goes on to explain how exactly the game would work, and for the beginning of the game, you would have started out as a gladiator in an arena fighting zombies in a Mad Max-esque arena. When I first heard that, I was like, wow, Treyarch must have been inspired by that story and that idea to create the 9 Zombies map in Black Ops 4. It would have started out in a round-based gladiator arena where you were a gladiator yourself. You would customize the way that you look. You're thrown into this gladiator, and after you've gone ahead and survived for as long as you possibly can, you would then be able to access and explore an open world. You'd be able to go to different areas of the open world, and you'd be able to fight zombies and get rewards from doing so for completing certain areas. Now, when questioned if this was going to be round-based, the gladiator arena bit was 100% round-based, but the more open world scale part of the game did have waves and waves of zombies, but it sounded more like it was a blend of round-based with some sort of end wave goal that would complete that certain area. But I'm sure that they'll be able to replay those sections or unlock round-based unlimited versions. It sounds like there would be a huge map and you'll be able to choose where you want to go. And when I hear this, I'm really thinking of the Destiny world map, where you can just choose what planet you want to go to, what specific part of the planet. It sounds like a similar thing that would have happened with this game. But the crazy thing is that the open world would have all been styled like this Mad Max apocalypse type world that does sound a little bit like Transit, but as if it was absolutely bonkers, which I think would have been amazing. amazing. But because this was a live service Call of Duty Zombies game, this game was going to be regularly updated with seasons of new content. So we're talking new maps, new modes, and different character customization. Because Michael was working at Raven on Call of Duty Online, Activision were a lot less restrictive on what sort of content they could create for that mode, which is why there is so much wild zombie stuff going on in that game. And it's likely that this would have also had a similar vibe where they would have free reign to create a bunch of wacky, fun, experimental stuff. And it would have all been completely free to play, which I think is crazy that even now in 2024, we haven't got any sort of free to play zombies mode yet. Now, there is so much to digest with all of this information because on the one hand, this does sound absolutely incredible. And even when you think about the time period that this was being developed in, live service games were absolutely not a thing. Don't even think the Xbox 360 and PS3 could have handled a live service game at that point, and we were just on the cusp of the Xbox One and PS4. This would have completely revolutionized Call of Duty Zombies for better and for worse, because like I mentioned earlier, if we got this, Treyarch wouldn't have had the rights to make Call of Duty Zombies anymore, and we wouldn't have gotten Black Ops 2 Zombies with Transit, Mob of the Dead, Origins, and then all the things that led to with Black Ops 3 Zombies with Jason heading up the direction of it all. We simply wouldn't have gotten any of that. And then that makes you question, is it maybe a good thing that we didn't get this standalone game because we wouldn't have gotten Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3? It's so hard to really think, because if this standalone game received maps at that quality and with that much replayability, then oh my god, then that would have been absolutely insane. What is also crazy is that this is a concept that we zombie fans have wanted for such a long time. Pretty confident since the end of Black Ops 1, we've wanted there to be a standalone zombies game because we can't stand waiting 2, 3, 4 years for the next zombies installment. And what is crazy is that when Glitching Queen asked if there were any other zombie standalone titles that were ever in development or even as a thought process, Michael replied that there is none that he is aware of, which means after this was shut down, the idea of a standalone zombies game has never been toyed with ever again, which is crazy because we look at games like Warzone and how popular they are as a free-to-play experience as part of COD. To me, it just makes so much sense that zombies, the only other popular mode that is completely separate from Warzone and multiplayer, hasn't yet ever received a free-to-play version. Maybe it's a case of it just being so much work and time to develop one single zombies map and all those systems that being able to support a live service game with that much content so frequently just wasn't a viable thing, but Raven were absolutely down for that challenge. What Michael also goes on to reveal is that because he helped with the lead designing of Warzone, there were a lot of things they toyed around with when it comes to different contracts that never made it that involved AI and other sort of objectives within the world as well, which is exactly what became DMZ, and it was pretty much prototyped in that game, but they didn't want to overwhelm players by having Battle Royale and then another thing on top. They wanted to be able to get used to that world and that environment and get used to those systems, and then we saw DMZ much broadly adapted inside of Modern Warfare 2 in 2022. And obviously that tech was toyed around with as well to create Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, so we're seeing constant evolution and expansion on all these systems which do flow over into zombies. It's crazy that all the influence was there from such a long time ago. We're talking like 2017, 2018. I want to know what you guys think about the sounds of this standalone in the comment section down below, because I do think it's very mixed. The Gladiator open world arena thing with round base sounds amazing. Then the open world having areas that sound like they would become their own sectioned off round base experiences, which I think people wanted instead of what we got with Outbreak. But I think it's fairly obvious most of us just love the round based experience and we don't really want to overcomplicate that. But if you enjoyed this video, please drop it a thumbs up, and like I said on your screen now, go ahead and click to watch Glitching Queen's interview to learn even more juicy development gossip on this standalone zombies and a bunch of other things in COD.